Good day, everyone. My name is Angelica Perioles and B.Saguion. And our topic for today is all about humanism. Are you ready to listen? Okay, very good. So now, before we start our discussion, I would like to tell our classroom rules. First, listen. Second, quiet. Third, follow our instruction. Fourth, raise your right hand if you want to answer or if you have any question. Do you understand? Okay, very good. So now, before we start our discussion, I would like to ask if do you want to have a game? Okay, so let's have an energizer first. Are you familiar with scrambled words? Okay, so let's start to our number one. Who wants to answer the number one? Yes, Miss April Dumdum? Okay, you get the correct answer. Very good, Miss April Dumdum. The answer of number one is humanism. Number two. Yes, Mr. Orlan? Okay, you get the correct answer. Very good, Mr. Orlan. The number two answer is liberal humanism. Number three. Who wants to answer number three? Yes, Miss Ortua? What is the answer of number three? Social humanism. Very good, Miss Ortua. So now, since we're done to our energizer, Miss Rena Saguion will discuss the first topic of humanism. Are you ready to listen? Miss Rena Saguion?
So for our today discussion, it is about the humanism. So pag narinig natin yung word na humanism, it is about the human beings. So kasi tulad nga ng sinabi ni humanism, human beings can live without religion. So possible na si humanism is hindi lang niya tayo binibase sa religion na dapat nating pagtuunan ng pansin. Kundi kina-challenge niya tayo kung paano natin solusyonan yung mga bagay-bagay or yung decision making na tinatawag natin. Dahil dito tayo mas mag-grow or magkakaroon tayo ng growth mindset na tinatawag natin na kung saan mas ma-challenge natin yung sarili natin upang mas ma-resolvehan yung problema or yung decision making na ginagawa natin. So mas matututunan natin mag-matured or magkaroon ng critical thinking na tinatawag natin sa isang decision making na tinatawag natin. So ito yung tinatawag natin na humanism. Hindi lang tayo naka-base sa isang bagay, kundi gumagawa tayo ng isang hakbang or paraan para magkaroon ng malawak na kaisipan na maring makatulong sa kung saan ay tinatalakay natin yung sariling desisyon na ginagawa natin. So now, let's proceed about the three types of humanism. So what are the three types of humanism? The first one is the liberal humanism. The second one is the socialist humanism. And then the last one is the evolution humanism. So now, let's proceed about the first types of humanism, which is the liberal humanism. So pag narinig natin yung salitang liberal humanism, papasok agad sa isipan natin is all about the human rights. So pag narinig naman natin yung salitang human rights, ang naiisip agad natin na idea is ang karapatang pantao, tama? Alright, that's correct. So, ang karapatang pantao is dito papasok is kung paano ka magpahayag ng opinions or ideas po bilang ikaw. So, dito natin mas malalaman or mas makikilala ang isang tao na kung saan is mas pinapahayag niya yung idea niya and then supposedly ang kailangan natin gawin is tanggapin yung idea na ibinibigay niya. So, it doesn't mean naman na nagbigay siya ng idea is tama or mali na agad. So, kaya dito natin ipapasok yung salitang unity. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng unity na kung saan is nagpapahayag tayo or nagtutulong-tulong tayo kung paano natin resolbahan yung isang idea na ginagawa natin. So, ang human rights na tinatawag natin, dito papasok yung democracy and then the freedom. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng gampanin sa isa't isa or mas nalalaman natin yung bawat tungkulin or yung karapatang pantao ng bawat isa na kung saan is mas natututunan natin gampanan bilang bilang isang tao or yung mga dapat nating gawin sa lipunan natin na kung saan is mas nagiging better or pumapasok dito yung growth mindset na tinatawag natin upang mas mag-grow tayo, naintindihan or unawain na kung anong sitwasyon yung nasasakupan natin or na-experience natin is dapat meron pa rin tayong human rights na tinatawag. Socialist humanism. So, pag narinig natin yung word na socialist humanism, it is all about how we protect the equality of individual in our society. Like, for example, nakakatanggap tayo ng discrimination from the other people. Discrimination of gender, discrimination of how we look, discrimination, the rich over the poor. So, meron tayong tinatawag na pantay-pantay dapat sa lipunan natin. Pero ang ilan sa atin is nagbibigay or nakakatanggap mismo ng discrimination galing sa ibang tao na dapat ay hindi natin ginagawa dahil hindi ito nagpapakita ng isang human rights na connected sa liberal humanism. So like for example, mas pinapriority natin yung mga rich people over the poor people na dapat is magkakaroon tayo ng pantay-pantay sa lipunan natin dahil isa ito sa kung paano natin tulungan mag-grow or mas i-improve yung society natin na ginagalawan. Evolutionary humanism. So, pag narinig natin yung word na evolutionary, so dito papasok yung pagbabago or pagbabago sa lipunan na ginagalawan natin. Dito rin papasok ang politics, self-determination, rationality, social justice, and freedom. Like, for example, may kakayahan tayo or may karapatan tayong mamili o bumoto sa kandidato na tumatakbo na kung saan sa tingin natin is karapat-dapat siya sa posisyon na gusto niyang gampanan. Like, President, Vice President, Secretary. So, sa tingin natin, yung kandidato na yon is kaya niyang gampanan yung pagbabago na meron sa lipunan natin or kung anong pagbabago ang kailangan ng society natin. So, according to Maslow Hierarchy of Needs, year of 1943, so meron tayong tinatawag na pangangailangan ng bawat individual, which is the self-actualization needs, esteem needs, social needs, security, and also the psychological. So, ang ilan yan ay nagpapakita na kung saan is kailangan ng bawat individual upang mas mag-improve siya doon sa kilos na ginagawa niya or mas maging aware siya na tinatawag natin na self-awareness, personal growth, na kung saan is mas mag-i-improve yung isang individual kung paano niya gampanan yung kilos or yung decision making na ginagawa niya upang mas mag-improve na connected siya sa humanism na tinalakay natin about the 3 types of humanism, which is the liberal humanism, socialist humanism, and then the last one is the evolutionary humanism na kung saan is mas nagiging aware yung isang individual kung ano yung pabago-bago or kailangan ng lipunan upang mas mag-improve yung isang individual or yung isang individual na kung saan is mas matutulungan niya rin mag-improve yung society na ginagalawan natin.
So now let's talk about who advocates humanism. The first one is Daffeltri. His real name is Vittorino Daffeltri. He was an Italian humanist during Renaissance period, and he was born in Feltri, Italy on 1378, and he was dead on 1446. He was also known for his innovative teaching method that emphasized the holistic development of students. The second who advocates humanism is Erasmus, or Desiderius Erasmus. He was born on 1466 and he was dead on 1536. He was a Dutch scholar and theologian. He was also a humanist during Renaissance period. He believed that education should cultivate wisdom and ethical behavior. Last who advocate humanism is Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi. He was born on 1746 and he was dead on 1827. He was a Swiss education reformer, also known for his innovative ideas on education and social welfare. He believed that education should be accessible to all. So let's move on to the next topic, which is Humanism Principles on Education. So, number 1 is fostering engagements to inspire students to become self-motivated to learn. Example of this is we are giving rewards to our students when we are giving activities. Like for example is group activities or magbibigay tayo ng additional points sa mga students na nakakuha ng higher scores. So, one of example of engagements? Another is, karoon muna ng energizer. So, example din yan ng engagements. So, that's the importance of having engagements between the students and the teacher. Another is the importance of self-evaluations. In humanism, grades doesn't matter because they believe that the most important is self-evaluations. For example of this, we as a teacher naman, nagbigay na tayo ng grade sa mga student natin or nagpa-quiz tayo sa kanila, tapos nakita natin na kunti lang yung nakakuha ng higher score. So, may isip natin na, ay, kailangan ko palang galingan yung pagtuturo sa kanila. Kailangan kong gumawa ng ibang way para mas matuto sila sa akin. So, another example of this to students naman is, nakita nila yung grades nila, tapos mababa yung grades nila. Ay, kailangan ko palang makinig kay teacher. Kailangan ko palang mag-aral ng mabuti para mas lalong tumaas yung grades ko in next trimester. So, that's the importance of having self-evaluation. Another naman is, feelings and knowledge are both important in learning process and it should not be separated. Bakit? That's the number 3. Bakit nga ba importante yung feelings and knowledge dapat hindi magkahiwalay? Kasi we as a future educator, kailangan nating mahalin yung trabaho natin para may maituro tayong mga knowledge sa mga students natin. Kasi kung hindi natin mahal yung work natin, hindi natin mahal yung pagtuturo sa kanila, paano tayo magtuturo at paano sila matututo sa atin, di ba? Now last one is learning environment. So, when we say safe learning environment, for example of this is when we enter to our classroom. Tapos, of course, tatanungin natin sila kung kumusta na sila. Kasi some of these students ay hindi nagsasabi sa mga teacher kung may mga nararamdaman ba sila. So, kailangan natin silang i-check. Kasi, it is our obligation to check to our student. So, importante magkaroon sila ng safe environment. Another is implement classroom. Kung napifeel ng mga student na safe sila sa loob ng classroom or even outside the classroom, ay syempre mamomotivate silang pumasok. Kapag alam nilang ganito ka, lagi kang galit sa mga students mo, of course, walang gaganahang pumasok sa'yo. So, kailangan maging approachable ka din sa mga student mo para ma-feel nila na safe ka lapitan. Safe ka na pagsabihan ng kanilang mga problema or any other concern. Okay? So, that's the 4 humanism principles and education. But before we proceed to our next topic, I would like to ask kung ano yung natutunan nyo to principle of humanism. Anyone who want to answer? Yes, Mr. Orlando. Thank you for answering. You got a very nice answer. So I hope you apply it to yourself. So our last topic is all about the role of teacher and students and humanism learning theory. The first one is teach learning skills. So example of this is when we are a science teacher, of course tuturuan natin yung mga students natin during a laboratory, di ba? So maa-adapt nila yon yung mga itinuturo mo sa kanila. That's one of the skills na tinuturo mo. Another is teach them how to manage time or time management. That's one of the best skills na maituturo mo sa mga students mo. Maaring maalala ka nila in the future, ay si ma'am pala yung nagturo ng ganito sa amin before. So, that's one of the example of teach learning skills. Another is, number 2, provide motivations for the classroom. I already said it earlier to the principles of humanism and education, which is magbibigay tayo ng mga rewards sa students natin or any additional points para mamotivate sila mag-study, diba? Or another one is provide choices to student tasks. For example, ito is when we are giving projects to our students. Since we are a Filipino major, I'm gonna give example which is, for example, is may project akong pinagagawa sa mga students ko. For example, yung isa na choices nila is sanaysay or tula. So, yung mga students na magaling sa sanaysay, yun yung pipiliin nila. So, you have a choices. They have a choices. Kasi kung isa lang yung ibibigay mo sa kanila, which is magbibigay ka ng project na tula yung gagawin nila, tapos yung iba hindi marunong gumawa ng tula, which is mahirap para sa kanila na maggawa ng ganong project, wala silang choice. Kundi yung iba is hindi maaaring hindi makapag-submit. So you have to give them a choice sa mga gagawin nila sa school. Another naman is create opportunities for a group with or a pairs. Example of this is yung group activities sa classroom. Alam naman natin na not all of the students ay nagpa-participate, di ba? Yung iba kasi nakaupo lang sa gilid, tapos yung mga active students lang yung mga sumasagot. So give them a chance na or opportunities na mag-participate sa sa classroom mo, which is the group activities or group works or yung by pairs. So, we're giving them opportunities para makapag-share din ng kanilang mga ideas. So, that's the last role of teacher and students in classroom. So, I hope you understand to my discussions, and before we end, I would like to ask another question kung ano yung natutunan nyo in role of teachers and student. Anyone who wants to answer? Yes, Ms. Macario. Very nice answer, Ms. Macario. Thank you. And please get 1/4 sheet of paper and let's have an assessment. Are you ready? So I have here two emojis, which is the sad emojis and happy emojis. So the instructions is you must write a sad if the statement is incorrect. You write happy if the statement is correct. Are you ready? So you have 3 minutes to answer to our assessment. Time's up. Number 1 wants to answer number 1. Okay, the answer of number 1 is happy because it is a correct statement. Number 2, yes, it is correct statement too. Number 3, happy. Okay, very good. The answer of number 3 is happy. Number 4, and happy because it is a correct statement. Number 5, sad because it is incorrect statement. So, who got a perfect score? Wow, very good. All of you got a perfect score this day, and goodbye everyone. I'm happy that all of you got perfect